Alright. Welcome back to More Than PG's Gaming. I'm your host, Mune. Today we're going to be taking on Master Svardborg. For those who do not know, Master Svardborg is quite challenging. You have to have an item level of 3200, but this will change in 2 days on the console to be equivalent to what is required for FBI, Famebreaker Island. I believe the item level is going to be like 10,600 or something like that, along those lines. It's kind of a big thing. You have to have 28% Everfrost damage resistance, and you must have completed Famebreaker Island before you can even go into this. I don't know if you have to have beaten the first version of it. I don't think you do, but it makes it a little bit easier. The reason why we're going into it is because I'm doing the tutorial as well as the chances for legendary marks. So those unaware what the legendary marks are, they are of these. Alright, so there's 3 of them. You need 10 of them in total. You need 5 for your weapon, 5 for your offhand, for the relic equipment, which can be gotten through the Sea of Moving Ice. In addition, the only difference between the normal version and the master version is that you cannot re-enter the battle. So when you're dead, you are dead. There is no coming back into the battle. Okay? I'm just going to go ahead and skip this. It's not really all that important. One thing to note, when you are in here, make sure that you are geared properly and prepared to take on the worst scenario. The worst scenario in this case, for what I know, is dying. Alright, yeah. They're talking about spamming and so forth and dying. I currently do not have any scrolls, and I do not plan on buying any scrolls. Most people in the queue group will have them, so I'm not too concerned. I will probably be dying one of the least, surprisingly, until roughly closer to the end, where the boss really likes to take me on. And why am I seeing his health bar? Is up to me, or who knows. Same strategy, still 10-man. I'm just following my good pal Vanessa because, well, Vanessa is kind of a boss. I've not seen any of the item level of these people. I'm going to go over to my queue thing real quick, just kind of take a look. You'll notice real quick that we don't really have anybody below a 3300. Most people are upper 3000s. We do have one person 4040, which is Vanessa, which is my fellow guild leader. So they are kind of a big deal. If you've seen my strategy for NSVA or need a refresher, always stay in the center. And the reason why everyone wants to come to the master version rather than the normal version is because the marks and the greater Restorian rings. Okay, there seems to be a better drop in these, and I honestly do not know for sure if there is or not, but it looks like everybody knows the strategy. If you have the red circle underneath you or on you, you need to run away from enemies. If you have the arrows pointing at you, you need to get near people. So this is a thing that you need to be near people because it distributes the damage among everybody that's near you, whereas the other one lays ice and it hurts everybody around you. I generally try to get away from people with it, but not everybody seems to understand the concept of running away when you have a circle on you. which is kind of a big problem with MSVA because uh, the PlayStation chat party only can hold up to 8 people, and having 10 people in a skirmish-like event makes it incredibly difficult for communication. So, uh, if you are running with people who constantly do this, you can try to spam the chat a little bit. Make sure it's Q group and not, just a group or your alliance, because nobody wants to see that in alliance or guild. So, shoot, I'm getting away from that. So far, we're doing a pretty good job. I don't really see a whole lot of people dying. Most people are getting away with the ice, which is good. But I don't know how many people have died in the ice, because if they get frozen in the ice, their companions still get taken away from them. I break ice, and unfortunately, when people saw me breaking ice in my Famebreaker Island video, that was exactly what it was. So I don't know what happened there. I didn't see the breeze, the attack that he was planning on using. Usually I'm pretty good at just kind of taking them down. Okay, so you'll see the double helix thing. That is the most pain in the ass thing ever. Surprisingly, I lived past that hit. Wow. I thought I was going to die. Okay. Whenever he throws that thing down. Yep, there it goes. A lot of people end up going down because of it. Dang it. Sometimes I get kind of stuck on some things. Like stuck in my sanctuary. But the general strategy is to just kind of beat on them. If you're a tank, you might want to consider getting behind them. And then at regular intervals, you will still have Skull and... I always forget his name, or how to pronounce his name. Hrogdunger? I can't... I don't know the language. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna butcher it. Skull is easy. I know he says it, but I have my volume all the way down for the sake of gameplay. Don't want to disturb the audio because of it. Because I already have enough audio problems. I don't need more. So I'm gonna get behind him and have him facing us, because it's better for him to be facing one of the tanks rather than anybody else. So since I have a tank, my job is to, well, tank. And you can kind of see that I'm not really struggling too bad with it. Alright, he's going to throw us back in the middle again. You can kind of see that when he walks off and he's just kind of, doing a whole lot of nothing. So these guys will come out, and the idea is to try to focus on one of them or two of them or both of them. But they like to throw you around. If you're having trouble against these guys and like they're invisible or you can't see them, or they're just causing you too much problem, if you can't see them, just look up. Okay, so the boss is back out. We're doing really great. So proud of my party. I'm one of those people who kind of goes all out for trying to... Alright. Alright, somebody's using, I think it's geese. And you can tell when geese is being used when... God damn it. I didn't want to get hit by that ice. He'll start maneuvering kind of strangely. One person I know said he kind of break dances. And I was like, oh, he break dances. Oh, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, it's not so great. This boss has some extra firepower going on right now, as you can kind of see. But the idea is you want to kill both of these manticores as quickly as possible. And then what will happen is the boss will come out and be like, alright, I'm ready to take you on. Uh, and it's best to defend, save yourself a lot of trouble. Um, Unfortunately, you have to wait until, you know, he gets so far in to actually start attacking him. Really great guy. See, he's making those weird maneuvers. Somebody's using geese. It's a devoted cleric using it. I don't ever recommend it. And he's up in the air. Okay, so we have beaten it. I really like watching this cutscene, simply because it shows what happens to him at the end. And we finished gold. Hurrah! And he's floating in midair, which is kind of cool. Quick note, if you're at the end of one of these and you have one, climb this thing. It's really hard to climb up, but because it just does not want you to get up there. You get all the way up here, you jump on the throne, and you get, I think you get a trophy or some kind of title. So looks like somebody wants to go again. I'm gonna go over to the chest because I actually have keys. There are a ton of ways that you can do this, but the idea is you have to use 150 Arcane Brotherhood. I got an Ild and a Garl's Gades. Let's see what the second one beholds. I got a regular Asturian Ring of Stein and Stig. Ugh, that one was bad. I don't like those. And then the last one, 100 Storm Blood, and I got a regular Greater Mark of Uvar. Again, they're kind of random. I'm glad I got one of them. I don't... Let me take a look to see how many I have. So, I got... Yeah, I think. Yeah, that was the one I got one of. I really don't need them. I need the other two, which is Stig and Uvar. So that was kind of a drop in the hat. I didn't really need them. But you get it by doing the Arcane Brotherhood, which is, I think, the daily quest. This one is from the Elk Tribe, which is fishing, and then this one is for doing, well, Storm Giants, which is heroic encounters and the weekly. So, I didn't do so well in damage, obviously, and I wasn't the main, and well, maybe I was the main tank. But every week you get the Asturian tail carving. There are a lot of different ways, but if you die, or for whatever reason you run out of time, there's this great thing called overtime, which means as long as you can complete it, you won't get kicked out, because you didn't finish it in time. What it will do is they'll let you finish up your current run, but if you wipe, you won't be able to complete it. It will count as a failure. So, that was everything. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the normal version, it should be up soon too. I should be uploading these about the same time. Both of them were kind of spectacular. Truth be told, I tried to do NSVA, I think it was yesterday, and we ended up wiping pretty bad, so not exactly my cup of tea. So I'm going to go ahead and leave. And then I'm going to leave the queue. Because make sure that whenever you're leaving one of these things, you leave the area and then leave the queue. Because you don't want to be sucked into another one. We did really well, but I don't really like running MSVA, mainly because I usually have to pick up the slack, and it's kind of boring if you run it too much. I don't really care for it. I'm not really trying to upgrade any of my stuff. If I was, I would run it more. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I leave the queue. And that means I leave the party. Alright, so Again, thank you so much, and if you like this tutorial, check out my other tutorials. I should have one hopefully soon of Tiamat, but I also have ones for doing Fanebreaker Island legitimately. That means no using of glitches or the like. Um, I also have other videos about how to run certain stuff and how I, as a tank, run them. Uh, in particular, I don't know how other classes do it. In particular, but I know how I do it. So this is kind of more of a tank tutorial on these things. And I know some people are like, well, they could be used for a lot of other things, and sometimes they can be. It just depends on how much you actually have to play your role in those dungeons. And sometimes I make it look easy because I'm running with more powerful groups, and sometimes I make it look a little bit harder because I'm not playing with as experienced or as powerful groups. It just all depends. Like when I ran through Cloak Tower, it was really quick and easy, and I go through the areas and talk about shortcuts and the like. But for MSVA, it's pretty straightforward. So hopefully that was useful and it doesn't confuse anybody. Just make sure that after you beat the army, you hide behind the pillars, because that is one of the most crucial points in the battle, because if you get down by that, it's not going to look good. Okay, you better bring scrolls in that case. A lot of people say bring scrolls. I definitely recommend it, but I knew a lot of people were already bringing scrolls, so I didn't bother. Scrolls that I'm speaking of are scrolls of mass life. So I'm just going to look them up here. Mass life. These are the ones that are generally the ones that people get. Go to buyout. So they're about 500 or 5,000 a piece. So, and or you can buy 5 for like 30,000. So it's like 6K a piece. You can, I believe, also get them from the trade bar merchant. I believe it's considered a consumable. Yeah, scroll mass life. It's 8 trade bars for one. So if you don't have the diamonds, you could always try just getting them this way. And if you are a tank, sometimes you might even want to consider this. But you saw me as a tank. I was either alive or I was dead. And in there, surprisingly, I did not die. So use whichever method that you choose. Just be aware that I had a little bit easier because there was another tank in there actually tanking, and I managed to survive one of the more devastating hits somehow. Usually that attack would just straight up kill me. So you saw a miracle on screen. I'm sorry. Even with my damage resistance at over 100% in battle, that was a miracle. But we did pretty well, pretty quick, and very effectively. So thank you again for watching, and hopefully you get to see my other videos. Thank you.